So what have you got planned there, Michael, to show us?
For Running on Faith, I was just going to demonstrate something that Greg Phillinganes and Nathan East do that kind of help progress the song. Greg and Nathan really, really are great musicians, and they support the song so perfectly on Running on Faith and everything else that they're included on. But they do something very interesting during the Love Comes Over You section of Running on Faith. I guess I'll just demonstrate it. So the Love Comes Over You part is... So that happens a couple of times. And then what happens is Greg Phillinganes and Nathan East start singing harmonies with him. So one of them is singing this note, which is a D note, and the other musician is singing a G note. And then they're singing Love Comes Over You just a couple of times.
Wow.
So this is called fourths musically. So I'm playing a D note. So a G note is 4 notes away from D. So D, E, F, G. The relationship from this first note to the last note is what we call fourths. Love comes over you. Eventually, after 4 times of that, they start singing higher. So instead of... they begin singing... And you can see I'm playing higher on the keyboard.
Is that an octave, Michael?
No, they're actually not singing an octave higher.
No.
They're keeping this G note the second time when they're singing higher, and now they're singing a B with the G and B. And these are called thirds. G, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G are the notes in a scale. So these notes are G and B. So G, A, B. The relationship between these notes are what we call thirds.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of the Love Comes Over You section, they're doing fourths. This is actually a third. The last part of it is a third. And then when they're singing the second part of that refrain, they're singing these thirds. And they're kind of setting Eric up for his guitar solo. They're kind of stacking harmonies, and it just sounds really, really great. And they're advancing the song to the guitar solo. Yeah. And that's something that is just next level musicianship. They could have sang those same harmonies throughout, but they chose to sing higher as the song progressed. And I found that very, very smart.
Yeah, I appreciate you going through that with us, Michael, because I'm going to listen to that song now in fourths and thirds. That's going to be in the back of my mind now. So I'm just a blues guitar player, Michael. You know, I just,
I'm not a musicologist by any means. I just was listening to the song recently, and I think it was my friend and bandmate Godfrey Townsend who pointed that out to me. He said that the first harmonies are, well, he's a musical director, so
okay.
He's paying attention as well.
He knows of what he speaks.
Okay.
He's paying attention, and he turned me on to that, I believe, because I've performed that song with him and another guy, Dylan DeFeo, and we're singing the backup harmonies, and Godfrey is singing the lead. So we have to know what to do to be faithful to that version.
Like you are doing it like that, Michael, are you, with the thirds and the fifths? The way you just described. Yeah, cool. Yeah. It's like so much, isn't it? These things, they are all about the detail and about what somebody does at a particular instance or in a particular place to give it a lift, give it a change.
Exactly.
You know, which is really cool.
If things stayed the same throughout the song, it wouldn't progress as well as it did.
No, absolutely, yeah. But it's small changes, not done by Eric, but done by other people, that make the difference and give it the lift and give it the...
You bring up a good point, because there's something that happens in, what's the song? I think it could be Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. And I think Christine McVie, the keyboardist, said she was kind of bored by that song because it sounds like it's a 2-chord song. But something that Lindsey Buckingham did on the Rumors album, Fleetwood Mac, is that he kind of inverted the chords and he arpeggiated them, which means that he played the individual notes of them. And over this, after a while of that, doing da 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 da, it gives it that lift, and it's different to the listener, and it creates that progression, and it makes it more interesting. And then eventually, Christine McVie kind of liked the song because there was this movement. It wasn't just 2 chords, even though it is 2 chords.
Well, it's what you can do with 2 chords, isn't it? What you have to do to make it interesting and change it some of the way through to make it so that something different happens for the listener's ear. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
So that's what a good arranger does. And Greg Phillinganes, we know, is an amazing arranger. And Nathan East has worked with everyone, and they both get music.
Yeah, it's really cool. Man. Could I say, Greg Phillinganes, not played with just everybody, is he? Stevie Wonder, David Gilmour,
Michael Jackson.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I hadn't realised it. Mick Jagger, Paul Simon. I mean, hats off to him. That's he's played with them all, hasn't he? Rubbish there. Well done him. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, clearly having that sort of musicianship will get you a long way, won't it?
I think so, for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they came up with those arrangements or if Eric came up with those arrangements. I know that he has input a lot of the time, but he's also working with brilliant musicians. So I'm sure everyone has input in those bands. And then they find out what Eric likes and then they stick to it. But something interesting about that band is that, like Eric, they all experimented. They weren't doing the same things every night. There are some parts that they have to do that are part of the song, but Eric kind of gave them the freedom to improvise as they pleased. And the backing vocalists would have a couple of riffs and not show off, but they would have their spotlight. And the same goes for keyboards or bass. And the thing about the mix and the arrangement is that no one is competing with each other ever. They're all working together.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the way it was mixed. Maybe it didn't sound that way, but it just sounds like, okay, the bass gets a feature here. Now the piano gets a feature. Now the vocals get a feature. The backing vocals get a feature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like scenes in a movie or characters walking into a room.
That's a really good analogy. Yeah.
It's just a very well arranged and performed album.
Do you know how much rehearsal they did, Michael, for it?
I think the rehearsals were the shows, but they actually
they're that good, are they? You can just turn up and
they would rehearse during the day for the next type of show, I think.
They were because of the different but only on that day. I mean, Eric didn't get them together and kind of go, let's run through some things in a studio.
Maybe. I'm not quite sure.
Well, Clapton doesn't have like a 2 or 3 week rehearsal period in preparation for a tour, like, for example, the Rolling Stones, who have to get into the groove because, they've been away for a while. But certainly from the research that I've done, most of the guys and girls that are in Clapton's band, obviously shit hot musicians.
Doesn't he? But he does have the same.
So they jump in, and there's been many times where people have said, that the rehearsals have been the sound check, and how many times can a band have that kind of rehearsal time? It's phenomenal, isn't it?
Well, it depends what sort of band you are. So it depends who you are, kind of thing. But no, I do find it interesting that there's kind of a lot of those 60 guys are like that, aren't they? I mean, Dylan's famously like that, no rehearsals, never quite sure what he's playing. I was watching this. I was watching a lovely documentary about J.J. Cale, which Clapton appears. And Clapton said he joined him on one of the Crossroads things. He said, "It took me 3 minutes to work out we were playing After Midnight." I recorded it.